Welcome to the Rising Consciousness Show, 20 minutes of soulful insights and powerful tools to elevate your life experience and create with higher clarity, intention, and vision. I'm Tara Antler, intuitive healer and soul coach.
And I'm King Gabriel, spiritual teacher and practitioner. And we are the co-founders of Ascension Academy of Life,
a global center for spiritual growth, intuitive healing, and soul alignment.
Get ready to blast off.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Rising Consciousness Show. I am so grateful to be here with you all. And I have a special guest today, someone who I've known for, I want to say like 8 years. I think we first met when I had Aria and she was just a baby in my arms. We were at a conference and both myself and Miss Cassandra Rosa, we were sharing the stage. And I remember us divinely connecting in that time period. And there was like this soul sister connection. And I loved everything that she was talking about because she was at the time, and she still is, but I think she's more of a mature Spitfire. 8 years ago, she was like coming up and there was so much energy and so much bubbliness and just this joy. And I loved everything that she was creating in the world and bringing forth because it had this level of consciousness and the entrepreneurial spirit. And so, Cassandra, I am so grateful to have you here because we've known you a long time. You've been in our world. You worked with us when we were up and coming and rising, and you've been working in your business. And I know there's been lots of evolution and growth, and we're going to get into all that today. But I so cherish you and love you and adore you. I've been watching your journey and the evolution that you have been taking and upon. And I know that's come with a lot of internal transformation at the same time. I'm so grateful to be here and have this discussion with you. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you for having me, Tara. I'm like so excited. This has been such a long time coming, and you've been such a huge part of my journey, you and Gabriel, right? Us working together as your student, if you want to say, in a collaborative way, the soul family connection that we have, and then being a part of your team, right? We were such a big part of each other's journey, and I will always forever cherish it. So this is an honor.
I just got chills. I'm like, everywhere. It's so good. Well, I'm so grateful. And I would love for you to introduce yourself because I know a lot of our community knows you from that time being in the community and then being a part of our team. But there's a lot of new listeners now. So can you officially introduce yourself and let everybody know what you're up to and what you're creating in the world?
Yeah, so I'm Cassandra Rosa, and I'm from Toronto, Canada. I'm an intuitive life and business coach and just intuitive healer. And my mission is really helping spiritual entrepreneurs go deep within on their journey of creating fulfillment and impact and a ripple effect in the world. So I absolutely love serving my clients with like coaching and healing offerings. I have a couple podcasts, a book. So there's so many beautiful vehicles that I try and create for myself to make an impact on the world and harness that ripple effect.
Didn't you also create a product line? Don't you have your own store now too with products?
Yeah. I have like an Etsy store. So this is one of the t-shirts from the
I
store.
love it. Yeah. That's so great.
Yeah.
So let's talk about what's been happening because it's been a little while since you and I connected. And I know there's been lots of transformation. And I love what you were saying about the last couple of years. So let's back up to where people were in terms of creating and the entrepreneurial world and that transformation and what you're seeing now and really that deep dive work that is so valuable.
Yeah, so it's interesting. I've been in the industry for almost a decade now, which is so crazy. My first business I started when I was 20 with a friend of mine doing vision board workshops in schools and community centers. So I think it was like 2017, 18 when we crossed paths. So it was very much in that infancy of that journey. And then we shifted gears when it came to that with my business partner and I ended up going on my own journey. And it's interesting, when I started on the solopreneur journey, I really was focusing on goal setting. I was focusing on productivity. And during that time, I was having some intuitive hits. When I was taking a course in U of T theology building, it was an NLP class. I saw energy behind the teacher for the first time and I started to panic. I was like, what is this? My intuition skyrocketed open. So I took a course with you about intuition. I had a couple other spiritual mentors at the time. And once I really embraced this intuitive side of myself, my journey started to transform and I was able to become a full-time entrepreneur in 6 months, which was such a beautiful honor and experience. So it's interesting though. I found I went full time right in the midst of the pandemic. I left in December and then March was the pandemic. And you hear my little dog echoing my message in the background. Yeah. Hi, Leo. You want to say hi? So as that it was all unfolding, everybody and their mother wanted to become a coach because people had quietness, solitude to reflect on their own journey. So many people started because of the impact of it all, but then lots of coaches that came out there. There was a lot of get to your first 5-figure month, get to your first 6-figure year. There was a lot of that was put out there on socials. I can't tell you how many ads I came across. And I know you saw that too, Tara.
100%.
Like so many people that were impactpreneurs got caught up in that. And I'm not going to lie, I got caught up in a little bit too of like, okay, I want to have more clients. Yes, for impact, right? And as that started to unfold, we did well. We collaborated well together with your business, with my business as a team collectively. We were all doing that together. And I manifested so many things, being in your programs. Like I always dreamed I wanted to live in Mexico. I lived on the beach, like life was amazing. And then because of the pandemic and some other reasons, I came back to Toronto, and it was interesting of an experience to go through because I wasn't living my vision board anymore. So I really had to come home to myself, kind of quiet the noise, really simplify what I was receiving in my ears, and start to really understand what fulfillment meant to me, what I wanted to be in terms of a leader in this world. And it really made me redefine what success meant to me. So it's been such a transformational experience. That's the Coles Notes of it all. But yeah.
I love that so much because I think that during that time, there were a lot of people that were inspired too, because when you have time to sit with yourself, you either get bored and then do nothing. But most of the time people get bored and then they have ideas that come and we're like, oh, we want to create something. And there was such a movement, right? It was such a high energy of movement that was happening that it was easy for people to get swept into that and want to create something, but then realizing, oh, right, having a business, being an entrepreneur, it's still work. You still have to put in hours and time and energy like anything else. It's like going to the gym and sitting there doing nothing. You don't go to the gym to sit and do nothing. You go to the gym and you work out. You got to put in the reps. And it's the same thing with anything. But I love this piece about coming back to the self, because I think a lot of people are doing this journey right now where there was such a high in expansion. And now we're recalibrating. We're saying, okay, can we have the expansion and the pieces that we love and the vision board and the lifestyle that we want and the fulfillment? Because I think sometimes we miss that when we get caught in those waves and the pull of whatever the big vision and the dream is, we forget about the moment. We forget about now. So how is that for you now? Like as you're coming into yourself, because you were mentioning you're going more deep inward. So what are you discovering now as you're doing that internal work for yourself?
Yeah. So since being back from Mexico and having the past few years, I really acknowledged that I had it ingrained in my mind that fulfillment and accomplishment were the same thing. So once I checked something off, once I impacted more people, once I got another client, that's where the fulfillment came. And when that was all stripped back and I was in solitude at home, it made me realize how fulfillment is about the present. It's about the small moments. It's about embracing the journey, that cliche saying, that I always go back to. That's what it's all about. So if you're wanting freedom at the destination, you're wanting freedom at the end game of whatever that vision is for yourself, it's about embodying it now and taking it down to the micro level, right? If you are wanting to feel more free, even in moments where your freedom doesn't feel like it's there, really embodying that now. So it's interesting. I felt like in the path, it was understanding that on the small moments. And then it was really just seeing the information I was taking on the outside, seeing the successes on the outside as just a kind of result of the work I was doing on the inside. So sometimes it's easy when we're in the industry that you go to a teacher almost to save you, right? They have something I don't have, and it can create this less than feeling. But what I started to realize in the way that I absorb different content and everything now is really acknowledging that it's just a remembrance of who I am on the inside. So once those little shifts happened, there was so much more liberation. There was so much more fulfillment. There was so much more of this excitement and this freeing nature that I never experienced before.
I love that so much because that's exactly it. It's the reminders. And I think that's what everybody's coming to right now is that we're realizing and recognizing we are whole. We are a whole self. We are a whole soul. And there's certain things that we each have come in with a more awakened sense. And when we all start to share in that, it's kind of like if you had everybody in a circle and everybody's sharing their gifts and everybody's sharing their highlights and everybody's sharing what their soul experiences, it's going to activate and wake up other pieces within each other. And I think this is what we're moving back into. I think this has always been something we've known. It's just, we've taken a journey. All of us have taken a journey. And so now we're here in this space where we're like, okay, great. I honor you and I honor what you're bringing. I honor myself. I honor what I'm bringing. And now this is really creating more of a holistic experience as a society and in business, which is really cool.
Yeah, and by embodying this, it's like rising consciousness, like your ability to rise consciousness within when you're focused within, instead of focusing on everything on the outside is just such a beautiful experience. Because when you do that for yourself, all the stuff is going to come naturally. It's not going to be so push. It's not going to be so hustle. It's not going to be so, of a push energy, a masculine energy. Like, I don't want to demonize the masculine energy, but I was leaning so much in my masculine and it led me to burnout because I was doing so many things. I had so many plates spinning, right? Even in our time, I was working for you, I was building my business. I was having a podcast, a book, an email list, a Facebook group, so I kind of spread myself thin and it all came from the best intent of wanting to help. But because of the method in which I was trying to do everything all at once, it led to that. So coming home and simplifying has just been so liberating. And it's allowed me to be a better leader and allowed me to create more of a transformation for the people I work with, which has been so rewarding.
Because there's depth to it. Like, that's the one thing that you were saying about going deep. That's the depth, right? Because then all of a sudden you're like, what is meaningful and what is impactful and what does feel good? And it is coming from an embodiment piece. And that's what I can see and feel in you even energetically, because we haven't connected like this in a couple years. And so seeing this transformation, I can feel the deep embodiment that you're in right now. I can hear it in your voice, like even your voice, all of it. And so it's so beautiful to feel that and to see that within you, because that's where the beauty and the awesomeness and all the other great things are going to come from as well, because they'll be coming from your truth, your insides, your soul expression, right? And then out into the world it goes. And I think it's so beautiful for you to be able to lead that way, because you're going to be able to teach other people also how to do that. Because I think a lot of people still are seeking outside, right? So to have that reframe, come into the embodiment. And we know, right? That's where manifestation comes from. If we want something, yes, we have the reminders, but we know that we have to become the embodiment of that, whether it's a frequency or the thing or the thought or the feeling. We embody it first. And once we do, it just starts to come. And it's like magical and beautiful.
Thank you. I really appreciate that you see the growth. And I think that that's what can be missing for people too. When we manifest a lot and then there's like stillness or like the plateaus that happen or little dips in business, it's a really important invitation to come home to yourself and go deep and see what are the parts of yourself that are wanting to be shared? What are the parts of yourself that are wanting to be healed? Because the more that you do that for yourself first, the more that you can step even bigger and bolder as a leader in sharing the impact you're meant to make.
100%. And I know that you were sharing with me when we reconnected that you yourself have gone through a lot of deep inner work transformation too. Like, you guys have had as a family a lot that you've moved through, and then personally in relationships too. So is there any piece of that you could expand upon? Because I think a lot of people are going through family stuff right now, varying degrees of it, but family stuff. And heartache things and a lot of big change and transformation. So anything that you want to share about that could help alleviate and give people kind of the light at the end of the tunnel, because it can feel really dense and heavy when people are in it.
Yeah, this has been one of the most difficult years I think I've had personally in a really long time. There was a trespasser on our property the past year and a half. Finally, that's come to a close and justice has been served. But that was something really hard for me to experience because I never had my safety in jeopardy before. So that was something really big personally that I was moving through at the beginning of this year. We had a loss, the matriarch in our family, my grandmother passed away. That was a big thing for everybody. And it's interesting just being in this stage of feeling like I was going through upgrades, like energetic upgrades, lots of things coming to be healed personally. And it's interesting. I used to bypass things. I used to be like, everything's good. Like, I got this. I'm going to move forward. Let's look for the quickest tool to shift my energy. Let's look for the quickest journal exercise to create the biggest breakthrough as soon as possible so I can get back on track. And in the beginning of this year, I gave myself some space. I don't think I've ever really given myself some space of being like, you know what? I'm going to take some time off, some personal time. I'm going to do things that intuitively feel like I can serve, but I'm going to take things off my plate. And by my creating that like spaciousness for myself, it was just so powerful and so incredible of a time for me, because in those moments of silence and stillness that I created for myself, more ideas came through, just like this Going Deep series in my Facebook group that I've been on. That came because I gave myself the space. So if you're going through something personally and you're worried that, you know, by you not showing up and being consistent, it's going to affect, you know, your business and the impact you're going to make, give yourself the spaciousness to give that pause. It's so divine, and it's only going to help you become better and more aligned within yourself to serve more people.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I think it's so interesting in the world of business because you hear about that all the time, right? Like, be consistent, show up all the time, be in their face. And to a certain degree, I kind of get that, like, be top of mind. Yeah, no problem. Be top of mind. And at the same time, I think it's really interesting because there's also this world of energetics that we know about. And in the world of energetics, everything is connected to everything. So if you happen to take a day because you're like, I need space, I need to chill, I need to relax, I need to nourish my nervous system. What if all the people you're soulfully connected to are also feeling the same thing and also taking that exact same day off, right? Or whatever it is, or maybe they're all on vacation. This is the thing that I found over time is that there are these ebbs and flows and waves and cycles that the soul family people that we're meant to serve anyways, that are going to come into our life anyways, because that's just part of the soul grand fulfillment. It's all going to happen. So what are we stressing about, right? Like, really, what are we stressing about? And I often find the days that we take time off, like Gabriel and I now in our company, every quarter we take a week off. We shut it down. And it's so great because everybody in the community is like, oh, thank God, like I needed that. Or, oh my gosh, I'm going on vacation that week. This is so perfect. You see the alignment of all these things. And I think this is so beautiful that you bring this forward, because then that hustle culture, it doesn't even have to be. It can really be about your listening and your alignment and feeling and honoring all parts, whether it's to move something forward, like an idea that drops down because of the space, or if you're like, no, I really just need to chill, and trusting and knowing that everything's going to be okay. Your business is not going to fall apart. The world's not going to fall apart. You're going to be okay, you know? And I really think that this is such a beautiful, I'm going to call it an era. It's a new era that's being created now, because we get to show people that there can be other ways to create this where you're not burning yourself out, especially when you have a lot of big things like what you were talking about going through. Like, could you imagine if you were like, no, I'm just going to push myself through this in the midst of all that? That'd be a lot.
100%. No, 100%. I think that's important to give yourself that permission to be able to do that. And I have to say, I ran out for a second because Leo's just loving your energy, my little dog. And he's just like running around playing, throwing pillows everywhere. I don't know.
It's awesome. He's just like, I love it. He's like, bring it on. It's like when we had the babies, when the babies were babies, they always wanted to be. I would go live and they'd be calm and chill. The moment I would be on, Gabriel would be like, no, I'm like, really? I'm like, I just need 10 minutes, you know? And he's like, they just want to be with you. So animals, they feel it too. They're like, yes, I just want to be a part of the show.
It's a beautiful reminder of things that we're talking about play, about lightheartedness, about being present in solitude, and then having those moments of excitement. It's totally just a depiction. They're all, you should have seen,
you would have appreciated. Last night was our regular Thrive class, right? And so oh my gosh, I was in hysterics. I was laughing so hard last night. And I said, this is what we need more of right now. We actually need to laugh a lot more. I have been giggle pants every day for about 4 days straight. And I'm loving it so much because it's light, it's playful, it's rejuvenating at the same time. And I said, okay, because we're talking about healing, right? The body. And I said, it doesn't have to be that serious. And then I'm like, no, like, let's get serious. But then we all start laughing and we're like, it's not that serious, you know? And I think this is such a great reminder of how our life is meant to unfold and be, that it's not supposed to be in these boxes. It's unless you want to. And some people like living in a box, I guess. But, you know, I think that for what we're talking about, it's so much more fun when we get to be free and expressive in all the ways. And because it's honoring you, it's honoring your puppy, it's honoring your space and your environment. Just like when I had little babes that were on the boob, it was like honoring them all the time, you know, and being able to honor the whole thing. And I think it's so beautiful because that's more representative of actual life, not the pretend like picture perfect, you know?
100%. If it was the past, I would have freaked out. I'm like, oh, we got to start over. Like he's
no.
a conversation. And now I lean into it because he loves to make his little cameos. I call him my co-host, and I warned her in the beginning, hey, Leo might be making a cameo today.
And I'm totally okay with it. I think this is the beauty too of like having young babies, was that like anything goes for me now because it's not that serious. And if anybody takes it seriously, it's like, well, then you got to go someplace else, I suppose, because this is life, you know? And I think this is the beauty of you being able to show up as you. And this is the embodiment that I was saying that I can really feel. It's you, you know, it's your full self showing up. I can see it in your face. I can see it in your energy. It's like, it's you. And I'm so grateful that you're here and that you're supporting your people and the world in this way, because we need it. I think it's time for a new conversation around how we're doing business and to still have the success, but have it be redefined where all the pieces are honored, right?
Yeah, it's a new era for sure of people finding their authentic way to do things. And not just because someone had like a 6-figure year, I got to do it their way so I get the results. It's finding your own unique path and being playful with it. Maybe that's his message here.
Yeah, exactly.
It's being playful in the process of finding your authenticity and finding your unique way of doing things so that it doesn't have to be pushing. You don't have to experience burnout, like, you know, and enjoying that. And it's interesting even catching up with you and hearing about your business and like you shared of having those weeks off and embodying more play. I think that's the way to move through the chaos that can be happening on our external world, is incorporating more of that, more play, more prioritizing what's meant for you and allowing your authenticity to shine and going deep in the process within.
I love that so much. And I agree with you because I think that when we start anything, you know, when we start a creative project, when we start a business, it didn't come from a strenuous place. We weren't like, ooh, I need to create this. And it came from a very joyful, lighthearted, soul-aligned space. And we went with it and something happened. And then I think it's what happens in the process that all of a sudden we take ourselves a little too serious. And then things start to get put in these little condensed boxes, which really feels confining. So I love this conversation so much because I think it's really freeing. And I think it's still possible for people that are inspired, that want to become entrepreneurs, to follow this conversation a little bit deeper. Reach out to Cassandra if you feel called, because I really feel like there's new ways to be able to create a business, be an entrepreneur, do the things that you love without all the other energetic chaos that comes with it, because the burnout piece is not fun. I've been there a number of times over 22 years and it's not fun. And each time it's been a clear indicator for me that you have to stop what you're doing now. You need to unwind, you need to rewire, and you need to come back to the core basics again and simplify and have a whole lot of fun again.
Yeah, I think that it happens to everybody in business at some point where you have that disconnect, right? Because we start off with excitement and newness once we finally step outside of our comfort zone and actually start the business we're daydreaming about. And then real deep things happen: rejection, judgment, right? Money stories come up, social media of being seen and having the courage to put yourself out there. Just so much comes up along the journey to experience. So I think that that's why it's important to come home into this alignment and go deep in the process within it.
Yeah, I agree with you. I totally agree with you. I love it so much. Anything else that you want to share with everybody? I know you've got this amazing group. Do you want to expand a little bit upon the series that you're doing inside of the group?
I would love to. So I have a Facebook group called Fulfilled Female Entrepreneurs, and I have a video series in there called Going Deep, which we talk about deep topics that people experience and want to talk about that aren't often talked about in the spiritual entrepreneurship journey. So we've talked about things about, is there such thing as a one true purpose and mission for your whole life? That was a topic from last week. We talk about, what do you want to do when you're feeling so stressed and overwhelmed and you want to throw in the towel in your business? So I share a lot of personal stories. We choose some deep topics and have discussions about these things that more people should be talking about in an authentic way. That's my belief anyways. So it's been a lot of fun creating that this year, and I invite you to come and check it out.
Yeah, that's beautiful. We'll make sure we put the link to it below in the show notes. And I think it's so important. I agree with you that these topics and conversations, they need to be happening. I think especially now. I think there was a time when people could maybe get away with being like, no, we're just going to sweep it under the carpet. Fine, we're not going to talk about it. But I think now, like, everything's being blown open. Everything is being looked at from a very different lens now. And I think we're unearthing ourselves. We're opening ourselves up. And I think this is a really powerful time to have that come forward. So I love it very, very much. And anything else that you feel called to share with the community before we wrap?
I just want to thank you for having me. I'm
Thank
so
you.
excited. Tara's actually going to be a guest on my podcast too. So I'm sure we'll link that too. I'm excited to have our conversation. And yeah, what's coming through to be shared right now is that entrepreneurship is such an interesting journey to embark upon. Creating an impact, creating a ripple effect is something big that our soul has signed up for. So to make the process as fun and as easeful and as fulfilling as possible, give yourself permission to go within and create moments of solitude for yourself, to connect with your intuition and allow it to guide you so that you're able to just have more ease and fun in business. That's the message for today.
I love it. That's so powerful and so beautiful. And I thank you so, so much for being here. It's so great to reconnect with you. And I'm sending you all, your whole family, so much love and support and goodness and waves of light. Who knows what that crazy experience was all about, and cleaning that out. Some wild something, And so congratulations for moving through all that, because that's intense and beautiful. And I know you're going to have so much wisdom to share with everybody too, from so many different perspectives. And so grateful to be on this path with you. So beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Cassandra, for being here. Thank you for everybody tuning in. I can't wait to see you all again soon. Check the show notes below, click on the links, go follow Cassandra. She's got some big energy, big movement, big things happening in the world. And I know you're going to be inspired by everything that she does. Thank you so much.
Thanks. Bye.
Thank you so much for joining us today on another episode of the Rising Consciousness Show. For more high vibration conversations, meditations, energy activations, and tips and tools on creating your most exceptional life, we lovingly invite you to connect with us at academyoflight.ca. The website is www.academyoflight.ca. It is time to create your heaven on earth experience, and we look forward to sharing this beautiful journey with you.
You're listening to Rising Consciousness, yeah.
Woo!
Woo!